adjustments are the ones that are going to take a lot of time. But we talk a lot about direction, and I know Coach Heller was at the national convention and he's seen a guy really give a great example of what this is talking about. If you take a rubber band, you pull the rubber band straight back, it's going to accelerate in a straight line pretty well. As soon as you take that rubber band and take it offline a little bit and then let it go, you'll see there's not much acceleration. It just kind of falls off your finger. So that's what we're talking about. We want to be in a straight line with the pitcher. With our feet, with our hands, best we can do to try to stay in line. Then when we get our lower half action going, we want it going in a straight line back to the pitcher. That's what our goal is. And obviously there's things in the stance that can eliminate that from the beginning. Okay? And that's where we get into alignment. What I'm talking about is where your feet are set up. I know Coach Hall talked about is you want his feet in a straight flexes, hitter's feet in a straight line if you can. All right, square to the pitcher. Don't want to be closed off. You see a lot more guys that are open. The issue with open stances is getting back to square. They do one of two things. They either close themselves off or they stay really open. Okay, that's where the issue is. So if I'm open and all of a sudden I'm trying to get back to square, I usually close it off too much, or I'm open and I'm staying open. And that's all going to affect what your hips do. Okay, when we close off, I always say that your front leg acts like a pole. All right, and basically that gate's got to go around the pole. Okay, if we close off, we're going to have length in our swing. We're going to really be susceptible to anything to the middle end part of the plate because we're not going to be able to get to that pitch without length. Okay, so we stay open, front hip, front shoulder are going to start leaking. We're usually good on the inner half, but we're going to eliminate what we can do on the outer half. So those are things that you guys can fix pretty simply. All right, make them go no stride. Make them go no stride in a situation where their feet are square. We do a lot of no stride stuff, not because they have to hit that way, but we do think that that's the basis from which they should learn how to hit. It controls their lower half. They'll stay in line. They get a feeling of when their feet are square. You know, those type of things are what we want out of those guys. So we might make them go no stride and then work them back into whatever they were doing before. Okay? Hands. Talking about it, hands is just the normal alignment is guys who are already over-rotated in their stance. Okay, think about that rubber band. And if they're in this position, guess what position they're going? They're going more when their hands get back into the low position. Okay? So we want to get them in a spot. I know Coach Hall talked about his hands kind of in your back shoulder, in reference to your back shoulder. I think that's good. Okay? The other thing is we put a bat in and rest it in their elbows. You don't want them in a position where they're already rotating, that bat's pointing at the first baseman. Okay? They're probably not going to be straight in line in their launch, or when they get to the launch position, it can come a little bit, but we don't want it to a point where they're pointing at the first baseman. It's going to cause rotation, they're going to spin because they're going to be late. Okay? They're going to have to start cheating. We want to avoid that. Eyes, Coach Hall talked about this as well. Get their eyes square to the pitcher. Seems simple, but they don't all do it. Make sure that the back eye, usually the dominant eye, make sure it gets square around to the pitcher and keep it level. All right? Because this, guess what this affects? This. Okay? Eyes are going to be the level of your swing. Now, granted, there's tilt. Your tilt happens, but if the tilt's happening early, that means our barrel and our path's going to be affected early. Okay? That's what we're trying to avoid. All right. This is just something we do with our guys before we kind of get going. We'll just take them all, they'll grab their bat, take them all in the outfield, or if we're indoors, it works pretty well because we have all the football lines. We want them to get all on a line, so they're checking their alignment, their feet are square, all those type of things. And we're just going to take them through a quick visualization. Not much, 2 or 3 of them, but we're just going to call out the situation. Okay, hey, it's an 0-0 count. We're going to sit on a breaking ball. Okay, we're sitting on a breaking ball. We're going to make sure they load. They're going to visualize. And then we're going to tell them, okay, you're going to get it. You're going to get your breaking ball and get your best swing off it. They're going to take their swing. I'm going to show them the pitch. They're going to go through their load, visualize that ball being struck. Okay? Or we might say, okay, 2-0 count, sitting on a fastball, you get a breaking ball. Okay? They load, I give them the pitch, everything, and then they're going to take it with their lower half. Okay? Take it with their back knee. Because if you're a good hitter, you should expect to swing every pitch. It's the only way you're going to be on time and get your best swing off. Period. If there's indecision before the pitch, you're going to be late. All right? And as we get older and as the pitchers get better, we get fewer pitches to hit, right? All right? We might only get that one time, so we want to be on time and expect it. Okay? All right. First drill, stride separate. Okay? We're trying to we want our stride and our hands going in opposite direction. This maximizes power, maximizes torque. What I mean is, stride foot goes forward, hands go back. Okay? Again, think of a rubber band. Think about creating that tension in the rubber band. When we do that, the further away we pull, we let go, more velocity comes off, right? So that's what we want. What we don't want is the stride and the hands at the same time. We've created no power naturally. So this is a drill to try to work on, okay? It'll also work on a rhythm. What I mean by rhythm is we want to be controlled in our load, under control. We don't want fast movements, jerky movements. Anytime we create tension, it's going to kill your swing. So we work on the rhythm a lot in pretty much every drill. We want to stay tall on our back hip, meaning we don't want to sink, we don't want to float, okay? So we're trying to do that in this drill. Another thing that you talk about when we say landing soft, you can say, hey, you just got to ride your back leg, inside of your back foot, or inside of your back leg. As you go forward, you should ride that out, okay? That'll keep you soft. And again, hands opposite of the stride. So what you're going to see is I got video here. Chris Goodman's our video. He's a senior outfielder for us. But essentially, he's going to start with his feet together, with his hands out in front. Okay, so we're going to over-exaggerate what the stride separation is. From this point, as he strides forward, his hands are going back. That's what we want, opposite direction. You're going to see that his hip stays tall. We're also using an angle board here, okay? With just our maintenance guy, you can kind of see it's a little blurry right now when I get going, but you just see it's a little angle board, so his back foot's a little elevated. But what you're going to see is just working opposite. The other thing he has what's called a power pipe. All right, these are heavy pipe things that are made specifically for baseball. We use them frequently. I think our goal is to try to get 20 to 30 swings with those every single day. By using that heavy piece of equipment, it forces them to really control the bat. All right, if they get long at all, the bat will take over and they won't be able to control it. Okay? All right. So you see Goody right here, it's just opposite direction, and there'll be a slight pause, and that's all he's doing. Again, it's rhythmic. You can see that there's no fast movement with it. The other thing you can do is you can actually just you don't need to pause if you don't want to. Okay, you can kind of have them roll through it. But we generally just have them pause so they can really feel that they're riding that back leg. Okay? So that's stride separate. Okay. Next thing, heavy bat balance beam. So that same bat we just had, all right, that power pipe. And then we have a balance beam. You'll kind of see it's just a 2x4, 2x4 with a little couple standards underneath it that he's going to stand on. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to maintain posture. Okay, what we're trying to avoid is the guy who starts to go this way. Starts to lean out over the plate. I was always told his heart was in it, but his butt was in the dugout type deal. So that's what we're trying to avoid with this balance beam. Okay? Again, this will also help with direction because he's on a 2x4. If he has bad direction, he over-rotates, anything like that, he's going to fall off. Okay? The balance part, and then what we do with this one is we have them back knee trigger before they fire. So he's going to load, he's going to back knee trigger, and then he's going to load again and go. Okay? Again, just trying to get in their minds that we want to start that swing from the ground up. Okay? First thing that moves is the lower half. Okay? First thing that goes is your lower half. See that? Just back knee trigger, boom, right up the middle. Stays right on it, back knee toward the pitcher. Okay? He does a good job of getting through the ball, but you can kind of see, and I can send you a picture of what those look like, those balance beams. Pretty easy that you can build them yourself. A good drill for his posture and balance. Okay, heel pop. I'd say we tell our hitters that your heels, once we get into our swing and the swing's going, your heels should never be on the ground at the same time. okay? So really, once this front heel hits, okay, if I'm loaded and I'm soft on my front side, okay, as soft as I land, my heel is going to be elevated, okay? And as soon as this heel goes down, this one pops and fires. If they're ever on the ground at the same time in your swing, everything's going to stop, okay? Your upper half's going to take over. So what we try to do is then we just try to do a series of 3 of these, okay? So they're just going to load, the heel's just going to elevate, it's going to load, it's going to pop, pop, and on the third one he's going to go, okay? On the third one he's going to go. Again, trying to get the sequence of the swing right. Ground up, trying to separate. The other thing I don't want to have happen as we do this is that my hands are coming. I want to separate, trying to get torque, right? Trying to get the hands to be the last thing that come. So pop, hands should stay in the launch, okay? Shouldn't come forward. So that's the other thing we're watching in that drill. And again, everything we do, there's some rhythm involved. Okay. Pop, you can see that back knee. That's the other thing we talk about is, one thing I've been seeing more and more with hitters is them pushing off their back foot and basically straightening their back leg. We want to avoid that. I always tell them that the knee actually takes the heel off the ground, okay? As opposed to me pushing off the ball with my foot, because that's going to create a whole set of problems, okay? And you'll see some of the drills here that we do that kind of help maybe avoid that. Goody was kind of a guy that would do that. His head would get forward, he'd get a little choppy, so there were some drills we would work with him. Jump back tee, okay? Most of the tee work, whenever we're doing these type of drills, are always working the middle of the field, okay? We're always working in the middle in most of these things. Jump back tee. So the tee's in the middle, I'm gonna line up for a middle. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a small jump back. And when I do that, I want to keep the knee and the hip inside my foot and basically get loaded into my backside, okay? But it's just a small hop. But what I don't want is this action. I want them to go back and feel. They should gather, okay? They should gather, and then from that position, from here, this is going to come up, and then I'm going to go ahead and take my swing forward. Now, you can do it one of two ways. You can have them jump back, swing, and basically just end up normal, or you can have them go past the tee. Here, swing, finish through the tee. Either one's fine. Again, what you're really trying to do is get them to feel their load and then direction. All right? Once you gather, sending it back straight to the pitcher. Okay? And I want them to elevate, it's just like he did a good job. I want them to elevate their leg. Okay? Just so, again, it slows them down. And it makes sure that he can feel like he gets inside loaded. And again, it's not an extreme jump, all right? It's just enough to get him back there and feel it. And you can see even him, you can see how it's starting to float a little bit on it. So we got to make sure that we keep him back, that his head, you can see that back leg starting to get straight. And we want to avoid that. Some of the drill, you're just kind of doing that naturally, okay? But again, this works on their direction, okay? Direction and feeling his load. Walk through tee, okay? This can be done a couple ways as well. This is the one that kind of looks like Happy Gilmore. I'm sure most of you have seen that movie, but it's kind of like that drill. But again, rhythm, working in a straight line extension, hand stride separation, all happens in this drill. But so basically, you can do it one of two ways. If this is the tee, okay, I can kind of step in at an angle. I'm just going to have the bat sit right in front of me. I'm going to step in, I'm going to load inside here, and then as this plants, then I'm going to lift this way. And as I do that, as I see my stride starting to happen, you can see what my hands are doing. They're going opposite, all right? Opposite, boom, swing, and I want to end up past the tee. Here's the key. One thing that's sometimes going to happen when you're working at this angle is that they start getting off of that line, okay? By stepping in this way, they kind of spin off, and they don't stay on line, or they really close themselves off. So those are things you want to make sure that you're aware of and that they're not doing, okay? Or you can just be straight back. Again, it's the same idea, hands in front, I'm going to inside here, step inside. As I step and plant, then I'm going to load, swing, okay? Again, direction. Make it go in a straight line. You want to avoid this action. Okay? Them spinning out of there. All right. You can see he's at a little bit of an angle. Biggest thing, watch how his feet land, okay? He gets back to square, boom. It kind of looks like he might close himself off, but he doesn't. Stays right in line, front shoulder stays in. And you can see that last little action to it. Watch that separation it gets right here, boom. That's where your power's coming from, guys. That's where it's naturally gonna come from. Your ability to do that action, okay? I always think of it, if you're gonna punch somebody, you wouldn't do this. What would you do? All right, you're gonna load and gather, all right? That's where you're gonna gain power. All right. Okay, bat lag progression. This is one that we always used to do more on like a tackling dummy or a tire. We don't have those, at our facilities, so we just do them on a tee instead. And I do it in two ways, all right, or 2 steps, okay? So the first thing is it's a post-stride drill. Anytime I say it's a post-stride drill, that means your front heel's landed, okay? Front heel's landed, and the other thing is one thing I've started to use this for is for those guys who are doing this. I want to limit the head, and the head needs to stay behind the ball, okay? By forcing this forward, it's going to affect your bat path. Your bat path is going to start going this way. We want to avoid that. We want to get on the plane of the swing, or plane of the ball, plane of the pitch, all right? So, with the bat lag progression, the first one is we're going to kind of work up from contact, okay? So the first one will be closer to contact. So, from that position, we're going to be close to full direction with our lower half, okay? So back heel's off the ground. And now we're in a position where our hands have come forward, and I want to keep connection with my back shoulder and back. Don't want this, okay? We want it to stay connected, and we don't want it to be up and down because this is a chop. We want to start being on plane in this area. It happens with our shoulders, getting us on plane, but making sure that bat, I always think about your bicep and your shoulder, trying to get the bat to be right in between those is what we're trying to get. And then from this position, you're just finishing the swing. You should have a little bit of action left in your lower half to here, okay? Got to make sure that their lead leg is bent, okay? It's not firm yet. As soon as this firms out, everything's going to stop. So we don't want that till contact. So make sure that this is, I call it soft, okay? That's bent. And so when it gets to contact, that's when it's going to snap out, okay? That's when it's snapping out. So kind of see, and that bat's in a lag position. There's not much action this swing. I'm not worried about how hard they hit it. I just want that simple finish. And the other thing is I want their head to stay still. At this point, the head, as soon as this heel hits, head stops. Okay? If the heel hits and the head continues to move, we're going to have issues. So the head should not move anymore in this position. And I did it both from kind of the side and behind just so you get an idea of what they both kind of look like. Again, it's just the middle. You can see with where that back's located, kind of shoulder, and the other, or between his shoulder and bicep, and you can see he's already started to tilt his shoulders. Okay, that's helping the bat get on plane. All right. I don't know what the trick is for this mouse to pop up, but I couldn't have all clear without a technology issue. There we go. Okay, so really simple right there. The one on your left. Again, you can see he's not trying to get after it or do anything like that. Just nice and easy. Again, head. Watch his head. Head stays right in the same spot. That's what we want. Okay? So this is just one from behind. Again, nice simple movement. Works out pretty good. All right. So part 2, now we just get into the launch position. Okay, again, it's post stride, so front heel's struck. Okay, so what we're doing is we're getting the hands to the launch. Okay, hands are in the launch position, and my back knee is triggered. This is my starting position from right here. Okay, That's where I want to set them up. Again, head doesn't move. Heel struck, front heel struck, head stopping. All right, head stopping, and from this position, they're just going to finish your swing. Okay, you've already triggered the separation that we want to have happen by the back knee, and then we just want them to finish. Pretty simple, but it's those two steps. Again, you can do it on a pad, you can do it on a tire, all works the same. See that back knee's in, heels off, back heels off the arm. Probably can't really tell off that, but again, pretty simple. Hands in the launch, boom. Okay, good direction. Again, just trying to break down the swing a little bit, make sure it's getting kind of crossing through those checkpoints at various parts. Okay. Inside middle tee. This is something I use for guys with long swings. Okay. Guys are long. Dan Patempo was DH for us last year. It was all Big Ten. This is something he does all the time. Okay. He has a tendency sometimes to get a little length in his swing. It's not bad, but sometimes it gets a little much. So what I do with them, inside middle. So if I set up, this is my middle, so slightly off of my lead foot. All I want them to do is just take a tiny step in and a tiny step back. It's not much. Just enough to put this a little bit out front and a little bit on them. Okay. And what I want them to do is I want them to try to hit it up the middle, okay, with proper spin. So, it's not, I don't want it to be like an inside pitch that they're trying to hit up the middle or a pitch that you would pull so much. I just want them to have to force a little bit more extension. And in order to hit this up the middle, you have to stay short. If there's any length, you're going to come around this ball and hit it to the full side, okay? So, and again, this helps, Coach Hall talked a lot about it. We do a lot of long tee as well. And it helps in this drill to have the length of the cage so they can really see, the ball going forward. All right. And it's just enough where they just have to get a little bit better extension, that they're getting a little bit more of that action. That's what you're trying to do. Just pass the ball. I've heard saying, hey, you got to think about hitting 2 or 3 baseballs beyond the ball that you're hitting. Again, just a drill to kind of help on that extension part. Again, if there's any length, all right, swing breaks down early, guys. As soon as you get to launch, that's when the crap's happening. If it's going south, that's when it's happening. All right, you lose connection. Your upper half's controlling, whatever it may be. It's from launch position to start is where the problems arise, okay? Connection drill. This is another drill that will help stay inside the ball. Basically, we want to make sure it's a kind of a slow motion drill, okay? They're just going to go slow motion. You're going to load, and what we're trying to do is make sure that that the elbow gets to the side and that the hands don't quite get in front of your belly button. So we're just going to go real slow here. You'll see him, and then he's just going to go back up. And really kind of as he goes back up, use that as his load. Okay? Again, trying to create some rhythm. You'll kind of see what I mean right here. It's just real slow. But you see how he's using his lower half, and still mechanically, his swing is happening the way you want it to. Don't allow them to just not use their lower half when they're doing this. It's real simple. Uses it as a load, boom. Again, that rhythm, just force that rhythm. You want it to be, this is how you slow the game down as a hitter, is this action. The more controlled and slower you can, I don't want to say slow, but the more control that you have going back, the better chance you have to see the baseball. When this part gets fast, everything else gets fast as well. Okay? So all your drill work, just hammer them that they have to have good rhythm, that they're under control as they load. Okay. Back shoulder connection, kind of a little bit of the same action, but what we do is we actually pin the bat to their back shoulder. Okay? So they're actually sitting here just like this. Okay? Again, try to get the bat angle right. Don't allow them to be up here this way. Try to start, again, you're trying to get on plane. Okay? Trying to get on plane. So it's just from this position, they're just going to load, and they're going to keep it pinned the whole time. Pin, and then take their swing, trying to swing basically from that position. Should help them stay inside the ball. Again, helps them stay connected, making sure that our hands and our barrel aren't starting to cast. Okay? Getting direction, all that type of stuff is something you're going to get out of this drill as well. Nice and low, nice and easy on the load. Boom. All right? So, again, helps you stay inside the ball, helps with that connection. Your direction's always going to be good. And you can just see, just goes back to that rhythm. He still got nice and under control to be explosive. Okay? Okay. This is something Jed Druschel just started helping us out this past year. He brought this one into us. For guys with the front shoulder and front hip problems, okay? Meaning that that's the first thing that goes. Okay? So one thing you can do with them, we just do it's a top hand drill. All right? What you do is you actually put your lead hand out over the tee of the baseball. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to maintain your hand being in the same spot while going through your top hand swing. So it's like this. You're going to load the same way. Keep this there the whole time. You're going to take your swing and try to keep the hand in that same spot. So you're trying to keep the lead shoulder engaged and online. What we don't want is this. That first move with the hand going away from over the ball, and we know that the lead shoulder is leaking. Okay? So you just want to keep it out over the baseball, there the whole time. Okay? It's a little awkward. It's not something you don't want to try to get after it. And anytime you're doing one-hand drills, your goal isn't really, maximum bat speed. Okay? You're working on kind of hand pass stuff. Okay? We just have a one-hand bat. If you don't have a one-hand bat, you can choke up on your normal bat, whatever you may do, or just saw off some old wood bats. You can use those as one-hand bats as well. All right. So just trying to keep his lead shoulder right in there. Again, nice and easy, working in the middle of the field. Everything involves the load. Everything involves his rhythm. Okay. All right, back knee soft toss. This one's been around for a long time. I remember doing it with Coach Rowling, Cascade, back knee. So this is something that I started using because, and this one is all on the guys who started to do this. I'm trying to control their head, okay? Trying to keep their head behind the baseball. And obviously this is a hand isolation drill as well. There's no lower half involved because you're on a knee. But I do want them to have some type of hand load. Okay, so there is some action going back. So you'll see that, and it's just a soft toss situation, and just trying to get them to spin the ball right back up the middle. Okay, but again, trying to get away. This is what I'm trying to get them away from. This is what the guys who are like that, I'm using this drill with. Okay, and I'm sure you probably have some guys who are doing that as well, and it's really kind of a nasty thing to break, to be quite honest. So you got to hopefully find some drills that can kind of help you break that habit. You see, just nice hand load. You can see his head. Head doesn't move. That's what we're trying to get. Okay? Trying to get him to understand that the head doesn't go forward when my lower half's engaging the swing. Okay? Pretty simple. But again, been around for a long time, that one. Okay. You got guys that are really muscly with their swing. All right, tense. Their hand action isn't very good. It's kind of shoulders. This is a drill that you can use for them to try to relax. Adam Booby, it's a drill that Coach Heller used with him. I don't know if you know Adam. Adam was a coach at Northwestern with Coach Weedy. Was also an All-American at UNI. Got the AAA with the Pirates. But he was kind of a physical kid who didn't, the fast twitch stuff, he didn't use that in his swing as well. It was kind of muscly in shoulders. Okay. So this is something that they used with him at the time that really helped him. And it's just a hand isolation drill. Basically just going to be, it's a soft toss drill, but it's a rapid soft toss drill. Okay? And all he's trying to do is basically lay his bat down and he's just trying to work in this area. Okay? Just trying to kind of use those fast twitch, no shoulders. And we want it to go fast, so because if we don't go fast, they're going to allow them to kind of load and engage your shoulders. Now, Goody's never done this one before, so this is a little rough on him. He's a little tense in this one, but you'll kind of get the action of what we're trying to do. 6 or 7 in a row. It's just rapid fire. I don't care if he swings and misses. Not a big deal. All I'm trying to get is this action really quick. Okay? Again, no lower half. So it's just rapid fire. Okay? And again, I don't care if he hits it. I really don't. I just want it to be action. Okay? And don't allow him to get here and then go all the way back. That's what we're trying to avoid. It's just real fast movement. And they can actually finish this way. All right, you can see that's where the tension a little bit with him. He's never done it, but. So it's just rapid 6 or 7, 3 sets. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, we're trying to get away from those shoulder swing guys. Okay? Okay. This is one that took a little bit for Coach Elmer and I to kind of like. I know Coach Prettyman at Indiana State played at Fullerton and played some pro ball, and this is something that he really liked, and so Coach Elmer kind of started to like it a little bit more and more, so we've continued to do it here. It's all front. You can do this off the tee too, but we do it in front toss, and all we're trying to do is we're trying to work from the waist up. Okay, really trying to work proper tilt is what we're trying to get at. Okay, so we're going to eliminate the lower half. Again, you can hand load, but what we're trying to do is basically eliminate that lower half, and we're just trying to spin the ball right up the middle with proper tilt in our shoulders. Okay, what you'll see is if they stay pretty upright, they're not going to be able to spin the ball very well. Okay, they're not going to be able to get it to the back square. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do with this drill. Brooks, you're on TV, buddy. All right. Again, see, there's going to be a little lower half action, but we don't want much of it. You can see it's just nice tilt with the shoulders, right back up the middle. Okay. What we like to do with this drill is we like to do this maybe if they have 6 swings, first 4 like this, last 2 get after it. Incorporate their legs again. You can do it however you want. You can do it sets of 4 or 5. But it's always good to then allow them to launch a little bit after you've done it a couple times. Okay. This is something we use with our machine. Okay, we have a hack attack machine, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make them adjust quickly. Okay, trying to adjust quickly. It can be velocity training. So we're going to start them at 1. You're going to see there's going to be 3 plates. Okay, I don't really have a distance for you. Some of it is varies on what type of machine you have and how fast you can shoot it and it's staying straight. But basically, it's a plate, then one's up about another 5 feet, and another one up another 5 feet, and they're just going to rotate up. Okay, we'll start at the one at the back, which is a lot easier. Just trying to get the ball right up the middle. Okay. The next one, they're going right up to the next plate. Okay, fast adjustment. Again, we're just working up the middle. Then they'll move up to the furthest one, which obviously is going to be better velocity. Trying to do the same thing. And we will make this a competition. So we just got in the fall when we got done with our fall practices and we went into the individual period. This was a part of every day, and I tracked it and posted it. Okay, how many balls they could hit to the back square. Okay, and just a total number. Okay, just a total number, and just kept standings as we progressed through the fall or through that fall training session. You see, you'll just take a couple swings at each one. I think some of that, it's one of the hard things. You want to make sure that you do have velocity training in whatever you're doing as hitters. Okay, you can do it with front toss by speeding everything up. It's a little bit harder, obviously, in BP. You can shorten up your distance, which helps. But we want to make sure that we have velocity training pretty much every single day. You would not have scored very well on these rounds. But it's difficult. I mean, it's difficult, obviously, as we get closer to the machine. But hopefully, you'll see the same rhythm every single time. Everything's consistent. So that's basically core set of drills. So other things we do, obviously we do a lot of middle stuff, a lot of inner half, a lot of opposite field. We try to do a lot of breaking ball stuff, because we're going to have to be able to hit breaking balls, whether it be a guy who's just flipping in, getting over breaking balls early. We want to be able to attack those if we're looking for them. So we do a lot of breaking ball stuff. You can do breaking ball, you can basically just work angles, meaning if you're in a front toss and instead of front going straight on, you can just angle it off. All right, you can go at the angle of what a left-handed breaking ball would be, or a right-handed breaking ball.